Welcome to Isu Geography 101, where we'll explore over 101 Isu sites and temples hidden in Assassin's Creed, delving into what we do and don't know about these mysterious places where gods once roamed. I'm your friendly neighborhood mentor, ActualSpider-Man, and let's swing into it. It's been 14 years since the original Assassin's Creed hit shelves in 2007, and in that time we've heard stories from practically every corner of the globe. Specifically, the Isu, or as you might know them, the precursors or the ones who came before, built dozens upon dozens of temples and sites, left abandoned and hidden for millennia after the Toba catastrophe of 75,000 BCE. Before we dive into everything the Isu did in chronological order preceding the calamity, let's take an all-around-the-world trip down memory lane as we explore what is and isn't known about the many Isu sites found in Assassin's Creed, using maps and key moments from all sources of the franchise, which I've combined into one simple image for you to follow along. Our first 4 stops have very little known about them, but we can at least see where they are. To begin with, we'll first take a trip to Tahiti, located in the South Pacific Ocean. A tiny island paradise off the coast of New Zealand. Sorry Kiwis, we don't have a site on your homeland quite yet. It is recognizable from its other prominent inclusion in the MCU as a mystical place for change, though this is never said in Assassin's Creed, since it and the next 3 are only shown as dots on the maps seen projected from Altair's apple, the map Altair hid from the naked eye in his codex pages found by Ezio, and the Siwan temple that once housed the same apple seen in Origins, which we'll get to later. Our second stop is in the Pitcairn Islands, just east of Tahiti in the South Pacific. While not much is known about what sort of Isu site resides here, it's interesting to be located on an island that shares its name with a Templar we see Connor kill in AC3, John Pitcairn. Third up is Easter Island, which needs no introduction, though hasn't been visited in any medium quite yet. Technically in Valparaiso, Chile, but far out in the South Pacific, it's well known for its mysterious eponymous Easter Island heads. Their imposing size and angular machine quality in the replications makes you wonder just what else is under those, and who they're crafted by. 4 is for the Juan Fernandez Islands, still a ways off the tip of South America. One of the islands here is notable as the setting of Robinson Crusoe's classic tale, though again has only been seen on maps in Assassin's Creed so far. 5 is where things get stretchy, but with sound logic. We've never been here yet, being yet another dot on a map, but we may have heard it hinted at in Valhalla. Ivaldi, the dwarven blacksmith seen in the mythical arcs, is released from his bonds by Javi, who asks him where he will go now. Ivaldi replies with,
"Under the mountains of Svartalfheim, our mountains, to free the earth's riches, for this is what I know best."
This location has a few characteristics too close to be coincidence to what Ivaldi says here. First, the real-world name of this region is Isla Grande de Tierra do Fuego, which translates to Big Island of the Land of Fire, located at the bottom start to the Andes Mountains in Chile, but into the border of Argentina. In our own history, there was a significant gold rush here back in 1883 to 1906, so there's something else to connect. It's known through the arcs that dwarves are brilliant with a forge and at mining ores, and seem to live in a mountainous region. Check, check, and check. So this is my best bet for where Svartalfheim's capital might be, and where Ivaldi calls home. 6 is located in Ascension, Paraguay. Simply notable for its real-world location's implied godlike ascension, we don't have any more info on what goes on here exactly. Number 7 is well known for its religious significance. We're in Rio de Janeiro of Sao Paulo, Brazil. With the can't-miss-it landmark of the enormous Jesus statue spreading his arms around the city, it's no wonder the Isu might have something important in that mountain below the feet of Jesus Cristo. Our 8th stop doesn't have a major moment in AC yet either, but is located along the Amazon River Delta in Brazil. No telling what those who came before hid under the canopies of the Amazon, but they don't call it the lungs of the earth for nothing. Number 9 sees us climbing the steps of Machu Picchu, Peru, the very same steps seen in the 2nd volume of the Assassin's Creed comic Setting Sun. It's here we have Charlotte de la Cruz reliving the life of Quilla, an Incan courier, called a Chasqui, from 1534 to 1536 CE. Quilla and the assassin Don Gonzalo Pardo saved the life of Emperor Manco from the would-be hitman hired by Tutti-Cusi, his trusted advisor, within the walls of Machu Picchu. But we never got to see whatever Isu technology must lie beneath its wondrous pyramid. 10 is a virtual mystery to archaeologists and historians to this day. The Nazca Lines, located in the flatlands of Nazca, Peru, are seen featured as several of Clay Kazmarek's many glyph symbols between the Desmond games. No one knows why these incredibly long geoglyphs were so carefully calculated out in the soils of the Nazca Desert, but it's estimated they were created between 500 BC and 500 CE, and they must be important to be seen in multiple glyph symbols. The next 10 don't have much in the way of AC lore behind them, so I'll speedily list these dots to shorten things a bit. 11 is near Bogota, Colombia, yet another mysterious mention in the MCU, how strange. 12 is on the Galapagos Islands of Ecuador, the bewildering location of so many flora and fauna only found there that it bred the theory of evolution by Charles Darwin upon his visit in 1835. 13 resides on the Revillagigedo Islands, off the coast of Mexico in the Pacific, where we then take the long ferry north to 14's location in the Diomede Islands, or what's left of the Bering Strait between Russia and Alaska. Continuing our Jormungandering meandering into North America, we have number 15 located near North Slope Borough, Alaska, and 16 far out east in the Northwest Passage of Nunavut, Canada. 17 is interestingly the only dot not already seen on other maps in the series, provided by Abstergo on their understanding of known Isu sites, and finds itself in Calgary, Canada. 18 is nearby in Vancouver, British Columbia, and shows up on all three of the previous sources, but doesn't appear on Abstergo's Insider Understanding. We then make our way down to San Francisco, California for number 19, then over to San Antonio, Texas for number 20. And it's worth saying both of these places are named after saints, so what did they know about our progenitors? 21 is another stretch, but is dotted on maps, located near the Houston Space Center in Texas. This is a likely contender for the launch pad of the Apple satellites seen in the third failed solution the Isu came up with to avoid the solar cataclysm, though this is unconfirmed. For 22, we find ourselves with a bit of a long tail. We're in the capital of Jotunheim, called Utgard, home of the Capitoline Triad. You know the ones, Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva. Located in the Great Lakes area between Canada and the US, the borders of Jotunheim's region is likely to include 23 and 24, located in New York City, New York, and Washington, D.C. respectively. Utgard is where the Grand Temple resides, near Turin, New York, and where Jupiter, called Satungar, is king, only answering to Saturn and Phaean, which we'll discuss in a lesson down the road. And last but not least for this video, 25 is also important, but it's the first we haven't seen noted on any important map in the series, with its first appearance coming from the Revelations web game, Discover Your Legacy. This is the location of the fabled Fountain of Youth artifact. Once protected by the Floridian assassins, who fended off the greedy hands of Juan Ponce de Leon in 1521, its true location within Florida is still a mystery. The Floridian assassins mentioned in its history may be implied to be the Taínos that disappeared from the Central Americas, becoming an underground mobile assassin cell under the mentorship of Opia Pito in the early 18th century. And that's about all the time I've got for this one, friendos. If you liked it, like it. If you learned something, leave a comment. I'll be making another 3 lessons like this for the rest of the sites, so stick around and hit that subscribe button for more. Links in the description for everything we talked about today. A big ol' flippin' thank you if you stuck around to the end. I've been your friendly neighborhood mentor. Stay safe, mask up, and we'll hang out again soon, webheads. And always remember, uno buenos waheaid. Nothing is true. Oenoser zaraundiker. Everything is permitted. Hey, one last thing. If you want to help your friendly neighborhood mentor churn out these videos in a regular, timely manner, I hate to ask, but consider a one-time gift to my GoFundMe or become a subscriber on Patreon, both in the description below. Our first web-headed acolyte, Delete Zero, has already supported the cause. A huge flip and thank you for that. Maybe a few more names will join the ranks here next time? Stay tuned to r/Codex Temporis for updates on the next episodes. And thanks again. Spidey, out.